Hello friends and fellow cattlemen. You may notice that in this video I am reading. I have written down my thoughts just to keep me on track and on subject. After watching what has been going on recently in the news about our cattle market, I have decided to speak up. These are my opinions, but I believe they are based in sound logic. However, if you disagree, I would love to hear comments and hopefully we can have a civil discussion. It is not my intention to offend anyone with this, but I feel like I need to get the information out. I am coming to you today as a fourth-generation cattle rancher. My family has been in the industry since my great-grandfather homesteaded in the 1890s. I still am operating a part of that ranch today on our share of 8,000 acres. I have been a part of ranch life ever since I was born and have ran the ranch myself the last 10 years. I started running the family operation after receiving my Bachelor's of Animal Science degree at Oklahoma State University. My family before me has seen many of the downturns in land and cattle. Each generation has seen at least one major market disaster in their lifetime. Now, it is my turn. I cannot sit idly by and let my industry be taken advantage of. So, it is time to speak out, especially to the cow-calf industry. Here are some of my thoughts as a young cattleman that has been thinking about this while sitting in the feed truck or moving cattle to a new pasture. People have started to complain about the packing industry taking too much profit for themselves. Some people want government regulation or other programs to make the packer share in his profit. I will admit, by the looks of it, that the packer is making themselves a hefty profit. However, keep in mind, they did lose their shirt for almost 3 years. But I do not have access to their company financials, so I can only speculate. I do not know what their exact overhead costs are, or any other expenses that arise in their company. Just think of the number of employees they have to pay. They pay line workers in the factories, managers, truck drivers, accountants, lawyers, and the list goes on. Who are we to say as Americans that you are making too much money or that you can't have that much? That is not the free market capitalist system. The true free market system enables all of us to be as successful and as profitable as we desire. It just requires a little bit of hard work. We say we want the government out of every aspect of our life until the packer industry takes too much money. Now, we need the government to come and rescue us. The answer is not more government regulations. They can't seem to get it right on any other subject in America. So, why do we think they can do it better now? It is up to us as individuals to set the standard and take charge. What do you think will happen if the packer loses money? Oh wait, he won't. At least not for long. If he can't make money on the cattle side, where will he go? The retailer, and ultimately the consumer. They will drive up prices at the grocery store to make their profit. What does that do? That makes it harder to sell beef because we can't compete with other proteins such as chicken or pork. Beef also wouldn't be able to compete with plant-based substitutes such as the Impossible Burger. So, you may be wondering, what is your solution then? What is the best way the cow-calf industry can make money? Well, here it goes. The cow-calf industry needs to immediately stop selling calves at below profit level. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take some numbers out of the air and say it costs a ranch $700 to raise a calf to 500 pounds. Then that cowman goes to the sale barn or any cattle auction and sells the calf for $700 a head. The cowman just broke even. Let's just say that number didn't include salary, insurance, or the payment on that new section of land. Guess what? That cowman is underwater. When a producer takes cattle to any kind of auction, the auction works for the producer. Why do we take whatever the buyers will give us, set a price to make a profit going in, and stick with it? If the calves don't sell for your price, then take them back home. I would even go a step farther and tell the auction company, this is what I want, and if I don't get that, I am taking them home. If every cowman did this, what would happen? The auctions would not be selling any cattle until a profit was made. Think about the chain. If calves don't get sold, then stalker cattle won't be available for grazing. If that happens, then cattle won't go to the feedlot. Then cattle won't go to the packers, and ultimately beef won't be on the shelf. So, who really has the control over the market? We do, the cow-calf industry. Without us, you cannot have any other industry in the chain work. Why do we blame others for buying cheap cattle when we sell them cheap cattle? Every American that I know loves a good deal. If they can get something for a bargain, then they will. That is just the way we are wired. You blame that stalker, feedlot, and packer guy for stealing your cattle by getting them cheap. Well, guess what? You signed the papers and turned over ownership to them. If you want to stop losing money, then stop selling cheap cattle. Hold out for a price that you can make a profit. For example, when a dealership sells a vehicle and you're negotiating a price, does the dealership take anything less than what he can make a profit on? Absolutely not. And those that do won't be in business long. Why should our industry be any different? Now, I'm not saying that we need to gouge all the other sectors of our industry. But if we all come together and each made a little profit, then we would all be able to stay in business and hold our heads high. One thing I know that will come up is, well, the banker said I had to sell so I can pay my loan. Or I have to sell so I can pay those bills. I understand exactly where you are coming from. But don't you think that it is better to hold off selling temporarily to get a good price than to sell immediately and get a discount? It is the same concept with any industry. If you're a buyer, why would you buy something at the peak? Wait a while and then buy something when it's cheap. We as cattlemen are forced to sell because of debt. And when you are forced to sell, you will take any price to just get some money. That mentality needs to stop. It is not only hurting you, but it is hurting your neighbor and anyone selling in the cow-calf sector. The reason why this concept is so hard is that everyone has a different profit margin. Some people can raise cheap cattle, some people raise expensive ones. For example, we have all seen the price spread on cattle that are 60 days weaned compared to those that are freshly weaned. Your neighbor may even get a premium for his genetics. However, the price has to start somewhere. It is the nature of our industry that there are so many farmers and ranchers that have cattle all over the United States. That does make us a unique industry compared to pig and chicken producers that own the entire chain from start to finish. I believe that it is time that we got together and agreed on a minimum price for our calves. We should not take anything lower and work together as cattlemen and urge our state and federal organizations to stand with us. Government and regulations are not the way and will only complicate our situation. We in the cattle industry are fighters and have weathered many storms. We will weather this one. But let's do it ourselves without help from government overreach or regulations that cripple our industry. This may not be the right solution for you, or it may be. Please share this and let's get the conversation started and think of logical approaches to a solution.